Life like this sure is sweet, huh?
It definitely is, man.
Anyway, guys, sorry about the intro, but we're going to start off in goal, and I have Matt Turner, and I gave him an 8 across his 2 games. He didn't have to do a whole lot across both of these games thanks to our defense. Against Mexico, he was really quiet in particular, only had to make 1 save. He did have a couple of nice crosses that he claimed. Against Canada, he had to make a good 2 or 3 saves out that. They were pretty difficult saves to make. Kept the U.S. with the lead, putting us in, complete control of the game. So Matt Turner did a good job this camp, but moving forward, he's still the number 1. There's not really anybody challenging him right now. Alright, so on to our outside backs, and I gave our 3 outside backs the same rating, 8.5. I mean, all 3 of these guys, Jedi Robinson, Sergiño Dest, and Joe Scally, they were phenomenal across these 2 games. So I'm going to start with Jedi Robinson. Against Mexico, it was kind of an average performance, a normal Jedi Robinson performance. So that was probably about a 7. And against Canada, I mean, for me, he was dominant, probably the most underrated player in that whole game. There was about 3 or 4 moments where he would track a runner to the back post and clear the ball off the line and potentially stop 2 or 3 goals from Canada scoring. So he was great in that game, good going forward, didn't let anything by him defensively. So props to Jedi Robinson. Sergiño Dest started the Mexico game, and I mean, he was so good in that game, probably one of our 2 or 3 best players before he got that stupid red card. But you could see the quality that he has. I hope he's able to find the right club in the fall moving forward. He's really good on the ball, and he was pretty good defensively in this game, didn't let anything by him. He obviously had that really nice assist where he dribbled through about 3 or 4 Mexico players and played a perfectly weighted ball to Ricardo Pepi that he slotted around Memo Ochoa. But props to Sergiño Dest coming from not playing for months for AC Milan and then just slotting in and cooking Mexico in that game. But for that matter, the red card, so Joe Scally started in place of Sergiño Dest for that Canada game. And I mean, he was phenomenal in this game. You could see the quality that he has. He's still just 20 years old, but he kept Alphonso Davies pretty quiet. Also had some help from Brendan Anderson, which was pretty nice to see, but didn't let anything by him. Made some really nice passes forward. Just really contained Alphonso Davies really well. So props to Joe Scally. I think, in my opinion, he's definitely our second best right back and left back. So it's really nice to have kind of a good outside back rotation. And moving forward, I want to see Joe Scally start to get some more reps with his team. But yeah, the outside backs for me are probably one of the brightest spots of this entire camp. Next up, we have our center back. So I gave Chris Richards a 9, was probably one of the best players in this entire camp, if not the best. Miles Robinson and Walker Zimmerman, both 7.5s. But I want to talk about Chris Richards first. I mean, I've hyped this guy up for probably almost 2 years now as our best center back. But, there's injuries, not playing much. He hasn't really been given the same opportunities as a lot of other players. But, I mean, you could see in these 2 games, this guy was phenomenal. His performances were flawless in these 2 games. Against Mexico, he was probably about an 8, 8.5, was really dominant in the air. Good stepping to the ball, won everything. Good, moving the ball around the back. I was not nervous at all with him on the ball. And against Canada, for my opinion, he was definitely the man of the match. Got their early goal, obviously, which set the tone of the entire match. But you could see just how good he is playing in so many different ways. He would step to the ball, win everything. Didn't let anybody by him. I mean, he was really good clearing the ball, good in the air, dominant in the air for that matter of fact. So, I mean, just 2 really solid, well-rounded performances from Chris Richards. And I think it's pretty obvious he's the number 1 center back for this team moving forward. So hopefully he can stay healthy and continue to get these call-ups. Miles Robinson and Walker Zimmerman both started one game. Walker Zimmerman started because Robinson was hurt after that Mexico game. But Robinson was pretty good in the Mexico game. Probably above average performance for Robinson in my opinion. Tracked his runners really well, good in the air, fine on the ball, stepped to the ball when he needed to, so just consistent for Robinson. And then Walker Zimmerman stepped in place of Miles Robinson for that second game against Canada. And Zimmerman was just as good, dominant in the air, pretty good on the ball, almost scored a really insane volley, which would have set the tempo of the whole game. But again, well done, props to Zimmerman for coming into this game, performing, and being able to help us close out Canada and just not let anything by them. So really good job from the center backs this entire camp. Alright, so on to our midfielders. I have Yunus Musa, Weston McKennie, and Gio Reyna. I gave Yunus Musa a 9. He was probably the second best, if not the best player in this entire camp across both of these games. In the Mexico game, there was a lot of questions coming in. Is he a 6? Can he play deeper? Can he do the same defensive, role that Tyler Adams played? Can he at least replicate what he does a little bit? He was dominant defensively, was so good in the air. I mean, you can see this guy's quality on the ball. He gets on the ball. I mean, the defenders will kind of just back off him. He's got that burst of pace. Same goes for the Canada game, was really dominant. Didn't let anything by him, and he just made so many nice, had runs forward, good passes. I mean, he was just completely dominating those midfield in both these games. Weston McKennie was playing pretty good in the Mexico game. Unfortunately, got that dumb red card. Should have been, I thought, overturned. Should have been able to play in the Canada game, but it is what it is. It probably would have been higher if he played both these games, but you can really see Weston McKennie's presence in this team and how important he is. Gio Reyna finally got an opportunity to play in the midfield as a 10. I guess in both of those games, he did start dropping back as the game went on, kind of playing as an 8. But, I mean, he was really good in the Mexico game. They were kind of backing off of him. I mean, they really could not hold him. And in the Canada game, he was probably, you can make a case for him to be man of the match. I was going to give it to Chris Richards just because he played the full 9. He was just more consistent. But he had the really good set piece to Chris Richards for the goal. And, I mean, he had a really good pass to Callaghan for the assist on that goal. I mean, you could see the way he looked up, saw the run of Callaghan, great pass forward. I mean, he was just electric the entire camp, especially in that Canada game, and was a game changer. So hopefully moving forward, Greg Berhalter will play him in the midfield because you can see all of his quality on the ball. Really good dribble. I mean, it's just night and day, this U.S. attack with and without Gio Reyna. So those are my thoughts for the midfielders. And now on to our forwards. I have Christian Pulisic. I gave him a 9. I gave Mr. Callaghan an 8. And I gave Tim Weah an 8.5. I mean, these forwards in these games were super dominant. I'm going to start with Christian Pulisic. In the Mexico game, he was by far the man of the match. I mean, Mexico, they could not hold him whatsoever. I mean, they had to foul him every time he touched the ball. He was too quick for them. Got around every single turn. Got the 2 goals, obviously. Could have had a hat trick, but, you know, that's how it goes. He did miss that one sitter. But, I mean, he was just electric in the Mexico game. I haven't seen him play that well in a minute. Against Canada, he was a lot quieter, still had some really nice moments, I thought, and that's what he does. When he does go quiet, he'll still have those nice moments in the game, and he'll be able to impact it. But he was kind of quiet. I would like to see him do a little bit more in the game, but I think across the 2 games, I gave him a 9. I mean, he was just one of our best players. Florian Callaghan was a little bit quiet in the Mexico game, but that's kind of understandable. It was his first game with the U.S. He hasn't really gelled with any of the attackers, but he was still pretty good. Made some nice runs, had some nice hold-up play. And then against Canada, you could see that he kind of got that little bit of experience under his belt. He was able to play a lot more free in that second game, was making those runs on Canada. I mean, they really couldn't contain him either. Had a couple really nice hold-up moments, and he obviously had the goal, really nice run. You can just see what he wants to do. He wants the ball at his feet, going into the box, getting those opportunities to score. So he was elite. We might have finally found our number 1 striker. I mean, he was really good. And then Tim Weah, I gave him an 8.5 in the Mexico game. He was also super dominant. Obviously, had the assist to Christian Pulisic. Just made some really insane runs forward. You can see his quality on the ball. Really good not hold up play, but link up play. One nice 1-2 touches here and there with Serginho Dest, Yunus Musa, Weston McKennie. I mean, he was really good in the Canada game too, going forward. Did a lot of defensive help on Alphonso Davies too. So for me, Tim Weah is one of the most underrated players in this team. And these forwards, you could see they just kind of had a different, kick and element to them, especially playing with Gio Reyna as a 10 with them. So I really want to see that moving forward. But props to the forwards, and they were dominant in these 2 games. Alright, so here are the other players that touched the field in these 2 games. Brendan Aronson came on as sub in the Mexico game. Didn't really do a whole lot because it was 9v9. Against Canada, he started. I think there are a lot of question marks going in. Would he be able to do a job playing as an 8 or in a double pivot? But, I mean, he looked pretty up to it. You could see the energy. He did a lot of help on Alphonso Davies. He was really good in that game. Didn't really do a whole lot on the ball. Had a couple of nice moments going forward, but that's a typical Brendan Aronson performance, so props to him. So I gave him a 7, just slightly above average. Ricardo Pepi obviously had the goal against Mexico, looked pretty active. Unfortunately, it was 9v9, so he didn't get a lot of touches, but did make a lot of nice runs forward in the Canada game as well. He was kind of playing almost by himself up top, just kind of pressing and chasing the game to see if we could get a counter goal. So I gave him a 7. But I really like this rotation that we have with Callaghan and Pepe. We have 2 really good strikers that I definitely can challenge and push each other to do better. So looking forward to seeing those 2 moving forward. Luca De La Torre came on in the Mexico game, didn't really do a whole lot, and obviously got the second half against Canada because Gio Reyna got hurt. And he didn't really play too well, in my opinion. I think you can see that he's really good with the ball. He's nice moving forward. He knows what to do. It's not like it takes him forever to turn and go. He just has some times where he holds onto the ball too long, and that's just a little frustrating to watch. So hopefully he can have a nice upcoming season with Celtic, because I thought he had a pretty good second half of the season with Celtic de Vigo. So we'll see what he does moving forward. Johnny did not play in the Mexico game, but he did come on for about the final half hour against Canada, kind of playing as one of those deeper 6 in a 5-3-2. And I thought for the most part did a fine job. He kind of just sat there, kind of helped defend against Canada's throwing all those numbers forward. Had a couple of nice clearances, was a little slow on the ball, but that's kind of expected. But I think, in my opinion, he's definitely making a push to replace Conor Costa as the backup 6. So for me, some nice subs, but obviously I do really enjoy having more depth. And, it's kind of nice, just a fresher to have just better players come off the bench and help close out or finish or chase games. So for me, decent job from the subs in these 2 games. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Obviously, winning 2 straight Nations League in the fashion that we did, dominating our 2 biggest rivals in the region with some great performances from the players and BJ Callaghan. Obviously, the players stepped up and played really well. BJ Callaghan, 1, put the right players in the lineup, and 2, made the right tactical decisions about every single time. So massive props to the 2 for contributing to this Nations League win. It's wonderful to see 2 straight trophies for this Nations League. Now, coming up, we have the Gold Cup next week, which is going to be fun. Obviously, a lot of the players from the Nations League are going to be rested for the upcoming club season, so we'll have kind of a different team. But yeah, looking forward to that. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Hit those comments down below on your player ratings for these games, and let me know if you're excited for the Gold Cup. So that's going to do it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.